Hi, welcome to the studio. I'm Chef Gordon Rader, and we're going to talk about macaroni and cheese. Lately, I've been on this basics kick, something that's comfort food. I think that's popular now. There's a lot of restaurants devoting time to comfort food, and macaroni and cheese is one of those things that I love, but I'm particular about the components. I'm particular how it's put together, because I think of meatloaf. Meatloaf is something that's incredible if it's well done. Pasta sauce, if it's well done. I'm not talking about ragu. Nothing against ragu, but that's not what I'm going to have on my table. Pot roast, the gravies that you make. I don't buy packaged mixes. You know, it just doesn't do justice to the pot roast. So let's talk about components for macaroni and cheese.
Bacon.
Yes, bacon is the word, okay? Bacon is something that goes well with everything, and I'm always going to have bacon in my macaroni and cheese. And you know what? Actually, I like to have more protein, so I have bacon and ground beef, which makes for a great casserole dish. So let's talk about macaroni, and you can use any kind of macaroni. You can use the big ones, the small ones, you can use penne, you can use any kind of pasta that you want, but the macaroni, I don't know, kind of evokes the desire for mom's cooking, if in fact my mother was a great cook. So, cheese. This is a great way to get rid of all these different cheeses, because I know you love cheese, and you've got Swiss, and you've got cheddar, and you've got provolone, and you've got all these little bits and pieces. That's where it goes, because not just one cheese, but a combination of many cheeses is going to create a better macaroni and cheese. So, I've got a mix of Swiss, provolone, and sharp cheddar. I love sharp cheddar because it really puts some oomph into your macaroni and cheese. I've got butter, I have flour, I have milk, I have a little nutmeg, salt, and white pepper, and I have bacon or prosciutto, which is another great element to this. And first thing we're going to have to do is make a bechamel. And now everybody's getting upset. You're getting up and running away because you don't want to have to take the time to do it. But once you see how quick and easy it is to do, you'll do it yourself. Flour in. You can use a fork. You can use a wire whisk. You can use a spoon. The main thing is to combine the two elements. There's a thing called a beurre marnier, which is actually you melt butter and you mix flour in it, just like we are at this point. And you could go ahead and take this and put it into a small plastic container and save that. So when you've got soups or stocks or sauces on the stove, you can add this beurre marnier to that to thicken it up. So just a little arsenal of tricks to keep on hand so that you can cook. So now, we're going to go ahead and add milk now. If you were going to make a brown sauce, if we were talking about, I know we've talked about brown sauces, you would actually want to brown this roux. We're not going to brown the roux. We've got it right to where we want it. It's kind of a nice pale color. Now we're going to add our milk. And I like to add cold milk to a hot roux. You've got a contrast there because when you add hot milk to a hot roux, it can lump, and we don't want to do that. Now, if you feel more comfortable using a wire whip, go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and take a chance, see, and use a spoon here. And we're just going to stir this around until we start to get, you see how it's starting to thick up? And you say, well, Chef, there's all these lumps in it. They're going to break down. You're getting a nice thickness to it. I want to add a little bit more milk so we can break down some of this roux. And we're going to go ahead and add some cheese. Now, if you've got bacon left over from breakfast, you fried it up and it's crispy, right? You know? And you don't want to throw it out, but you're thinking actually about BLTs, right? Actually, macaroni and cheese and a BLT, wouldn't that be great? Huh? So let's go ahead and put some cheese in here. And this is a mix. And I'm going to go ahead and put my bacon pieces in, right? Now that gives those flour lumps something to work with. And this is probably going to take you about 5 minutes. Now, if you're making a double batch, right, you've got a big family you want to feed, it's only going to take a little bit longer. But look at the nice textural consistency on that. This is really good. And the smell of the cheese and the bacon, it's nice. So at this point, I like to leave a little bit of thickness. I like to add a little bit of nutmeg, salt, white pepper. You can add Tabasco if you'd like to. Tabasco's a nice taste with that, the vinegar. And the only thing left to do is to bring in the pasta. We're going to go ahead and add the pasta to this. Mix it in. You can take it off the heat now. Now, you can add more cheese to it at this point, okay? But what I like to do to get it nice and fluffy is to add some eggs to it. I'll add 2 eggs. This is probably 4 cups of pasta, okay? I want to add a couple eggs to it and mix it into it. And so now, it's been in the oven, probably at 350 for about 40 minutes. And again, it depends on the size of the dish, how many you've got. You've got a 9 by 12 by 13, 9 by 2 by 13. You've got a 8 by 8 tray. It all depends on the quantity that you make, okay? And again, but we're talking about getting away from recipes and trying to experiment a little bit with what you feel like it needs to do. And I actually just made mine in a saute pan to show you. And these you can pick up at Walmart too. And these handles now in plastic, they don't melt. These are the same things they make the muffin tins out of. So you can cook right in the pan itself. And what's neat is because this is non-stack, and I'm not going to do it for you here, this will, once it cools, it'll slide out. But I wanted you to see the bacon fat that's jumping. Oh, geez, here we go again. The bacon fat that's coming out of here, this is going to add some great flavor to it. And look at the crunchy of the cheese that I put on top. There's a couple of things, too, you can do. If you don't want straight cheese, come by with some panko breadcrumbs on the top before you put it in the oven, and then sprinkle some butter, or just slice the cold butter off of the bar and stick it on the top. So now you've got the fat from the butter and the fat from the bacon, so it's good for you. You know, you're not going to eat it every night, right? So I'm sure the cast is going to, and the crew is going to have fun with this because it smells really, really good. But I mean, this is macaroni and cheese. This is a classic American dish. This is comfort food. And I hope that you're going to play with these things and start to cook a little bit, because once you get the bug, once you start cooking and the dish comes out really nice like this does, and your fans start knocking on the door, it's going to change your life. It really is. So this was a fun gig. I enjoyed doing these, and look forward to having you again. So get to cooking.